The struggle is real for freelance writers who skip reviewing their LOI and marketing templates and spreadsheet, the most critical needle movers in their business. And I know if you fail to review this, your business will stagnate, nosedive, or even fail. I'm Mandy Ellis, and I built a 6-figure freelance writing business, and now I help other freelance writers hit 5-figure months with dream clients without the burnout, stress, and overwhelm. When we're doing this review, number one thing is that you need to review your LOI template, your letter of introduction, the thing that you send to business clients for copywriting, content marketing, content strategy work. And people skip this all the time. This is the number one thing I recommend to freelance writers, to students, all the stuff. You need to ask, could you use help right now? In your LOI, somewhere in there, could you use help right now? That's a whole bunch of things packed into one tiny little sentence. So this thing actually helps you signal like, hey, could you use help? Is what's going on in your business? Kind of tell me all the things. I'm opening, I'm listening, I'm interested in what's going on. The other thing is right now. So that means when someone answers it, it's right now. It's something that they're telling you, hey, this is our current status. When I started adding right now into that sentence, I got more up-to-date information on clients. When someone opened it, they answered with what's going on right now, whether they opened it immediately or 3 to 6 months later. It was something that I got an update on. And it gives like a little bit of a little tinge of urgency. I think that kind of helps get responses. It's already opening the door with, hey, could you use help? Could you use help? And then the right now, I think really helps. Like that switching that in my LOI made a huge difference. And in your LOI, I think it's really important that you're including your past clients or past projects that you worked on. If you don't have past clients or past projects, or you don't have a ton of full-time experience, put in skills or projects you can work on together or things that you think you can help with. So if you're newer or if you're moving into a new niche, kind of mix those things in: skills, projects, past clients. All those things are kind of giving you that credibility piece. And then you want to have that CTA in there for your portfolio, your website, or your LinkedIn, and the CTA to hop on a call. I think for me, I know some people are a little squeamish about hop on a call. I think it's just better to leave it with like, hey, if you need help and you want to talk about what things you need help on, let's hop on a call. Those are some of the most essential elements and most critical pieces of your LOI template that you need to move the needle forward, especially when you're doing this review. And I think a lot of times people skip this because they're worried about being too forward or too pushy or too spammy, or, oh no, I'm sending this cold email, I better just warm them up. No, just get to the point. It is so much better to be direct here and to get to the point of like, hey, I can, do you need help? I can do this thing. I'm qualified, or I have these skills. I know how to help you. Hey, if you want to hop on a call, or here's my website, LinkedIn, portfolio. Those things mixed together make for a short and sweet and to the point LOI that your potential clients are like, hey, cool, I can get through this. It stands out in my inbox. It's not asking me, to do all this other stuff like read a freebie or go click this thing and go off on a journey. It's short, straight to the point. And if you're someone who wants more of this short, straight to the point advice for improving your freelance writing business, I want you to check out my free masterclass. This helps you move from feast and famine to fully booked. I'm going over more things about marketing, how to actually shift into finding these diamond clients. What are they looking for? Those top freelance writing clients, what are they looking for? How does this help? How can you help them specifically with your skills? What are the next steps you can take? I'm going through it all in my free masterclass. If you go to mandyellis.com/free masterclass, you can go through it, take all the notes. I also go over things that have changed in the market. I always do a market update in a masterclass because it's really helpful to see where clients are going, what they're thinking, what stats are actually showing, not just the general kind of chatter, the stats. So if you go to mandyellis.com/free masterclass, you can learn more about how to actually take these next action steps and find those critical needle movers in your business. Number 2 here, we are going to do an LOI spreadsheet review. So if you are someone who has not reviewed your LOI spreadsheet or has not been tracking the pitches you've been sending to magazines or LOIs that you have sent to businesses, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that this is something that you're kind of struggling with. This is something that you're kind of struggling to track your data. You've skipped this review before, or you actually know you need to put more work into your LOI spreadsheet or your pitch spreadsheet. And this is the time that we're going to do it. So I'm going to walk you through it. This is an example one. This is very similar to what I teach my Wealth Lab students. And I'm going to walk you through how this works. So what I have is the titles, right? These are the most important things. This isn't the whole spreadsheet. This is just the things that we're paying attention to. What we want to track here is what's the most common title? What's the most common type of content? What's the most common type of revenue range for clients who are, or for people who are becoming your clients? And then what niches are they in? I love color coding, makes it super easy. So at the end of the year, I'm going through my LOI spreadsheets, whether those are separated by month and year, whether I have everybody in one spreadsheet, everything should be easy to track. I'm noticing that most of my best clients are between 20 and 65 million in revenue. Okay, so now I know that my best clients are likely prop tech and real estate clients who make between 20 and 65 million in revenue. I have yellow, which is kind of like they said, not right now, or I'm following up with them. They're kind of like the warm lead category. So now I have more information on who that is. Now, 3 million, right? That probably is an outlier. I need these other guys, right? So I'm probably between here, like let's say 30 to 50 million in warm leads, which pretty much lines up with 20 to 60 million, 65 million. And I know they're in these certain niches. And then I have all these guys who are like, no. So maybe that is just these niches. Maybe that's that revenue range. Maybe that's, they just don't need help or create that much content. But what I'm looking for here are a bunch of patterns. So I need to know the top title that I'm contacting, the job title of my contacts, the people I'm sending the LOIs to. I need to know the top type, right? The content type, the revenue range for who became a client and who's a warm lead, the response rate. So what percentage am I getting responses, right? Throughout the year, who is responding? What percentage of LOIs? So if I send 100 LOIs, am I at 10% response rate, 30%, 4%? Right now, I think the LOI response rate is all over the place. When I've been sending LOIs recently, my response rate is about 2 to 3%. Other people are 8 to 10%. Other people are higher and lower. Right now, I usually recommend, well, right now, I think it's kind of all over the place. Usually, I recommend you want 10 to 30% response rate over the year. I think that can really help you narrow it in. But right now, it's kind of all over the map. So what you want is just responses, but we want to make sure we're tracking that in this spreadsheet. We also want to know what our new client rate is. So what percentage of those LOIs can turn into new clients? I don't really like tracking this a ton. This isn't super helpful for me. What I found that is the most helpful number is the response rate, because then I have both warm leads and who became a client. That helps me map out my business a lot better than just the percentage of who converted into a client. And if you feel like those numbers have been helpful, I want you to subscribe. We go through these kind of walkthroughs and how to analyze your business and how to actually make freelance writing profitable and fun and scalable. So if you feel like this has been helpful or you want to learn more about that, make sure to subscribe. But you need to make sure that you're going through this LOI spreadsheet review. You need to make sure that you're doing that, because number 3 here, we have to figure out who our diamond clients are. So when we're looking at this spreadsheet, let's say I have a ton of these, and it turns out my diamond clients are actually 30 to 65 million in revenue. So I go through the hundreds of LOIs I've sent this year, and I'm looking at this spreadsheet and I'm like, oh, it turns out I thought it was as low as 20, but my best clients, the ones who are in niches or have the revenue or have long-term projects, or I really enjoy working with them, their revenue range is 30 to 60 million. And I know, for me, I work with startups, so I know their Series B and Series C. That's usually tracked in the spreadsheet. So when we're going through this, we need to have that information on what our diamond clients are like. Who are they? What do they look like? And this can also be your previous clients. So if you have not gone back and looked at your previous clients, write this down. Make sure you're doing revenue. Make sure you're doing niches. Make sure you're doing what the client is asking for in terms of projects, and incorporating that into your data. The knowledge that you have gained from this review is critical. Write that down. What knowledge have you gained from going through this LOI template and LOI spreadsheet review? And then how is that going to change your next year? Are you going to hone in on your diamond clients? Are you going to change your marketing? Are you going to change your template? Have you really lost the data? Now that you have the data, you're going to make a big change. And I also kind of think about, how am I going to double down on this? What are some things that I can double down on as I go through my LOI template, my LOI spreadsheet? What are the things that really worked well for me? What are the things that didn't work well? What are the things that I can do in terms of experiments? I always encourage writers to do experiments because things change. This is an ever evolving puzzle. That's the if you want freelance writing to stagnate, this is not for you. Freelance writing changes all the time. That's what makes it really cool and fun and interesting is there's always little quirks that your clients do or your content changes or things that they want. And when you run experiments, you are combining the data science part that we're talking about with the LOI review, the LOI template, and the LOI spreadsheet with the art of writing and creativity and like what's kind of the dial I need to move. So the experiment part gives you a lot more space to kind of like, hey, maybe I will reach out to this company that has 500 million in revenue, or maybe I'll just send some things to some small companies and see what they say. But those experiments in amongst this data can really help. Those are experiments that are calculated risks. They are not things that you're just like throwing spaghetti at the wall. We have enough data now to look at all of the things going on with our LOIs, our clients, what's happening in their business, how that was successful, how that was not successful for us. Then we can start moving into the experiments that are calculated risks that we know we can try different buttons. It's not just an array of spaghetti. It's actual buttons that we can push. I think that piece is the part that freelance writers fear the most. So don't fear the experiments, just do them. And if that is interesting to you, we are going to go over in this next video below a total business review. This was just one piece of the puzzle. It's the most critical piece that you're going to go through. But if you want to do a total business review, make sure to watch this video below. It will change the way that you are operating next year in your business.